So with Baronne and Linkuriboh banned, we are confronted with the problem, what should we do now? First off, Timelord progenitor Wargate. Yes, this was always available in the US, but never in the EU, at least until the release of the Chapter 1, Battles of Legend Chapter 1. Anyway, Timelord progenitor Wargate says 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner monster, so as generic as it gets. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. You take no battle damage from attacks involving this card. At the end of the damage step, if this card that was special summoned from the extra deck battled, you can activate this effect, banish all monsters your opponent controls. Also for the rest of this turn, half the battle damage your opponent takes. Once per turn during the end phase, if this effect was activated this turn, special summon as many monsters as possible that you banished with this card's effect to your opponent's field. So, why this card? Well, first it's a more or less a board wipe, if it don't get negated, of course. It's a board wipe to the cost that all battle damage is halved. But if you combine Timelord progenitor Wargate with Punishment Dragon, and as you probably already know, Light Swan gets a little bit better in the upcoming format with the release of Legacy of Destruction. If you combine Wargate with Punishment Dragon, that's actually a pretty cool combo, because Punishment Dragon says, cannot be normal sunset, the usual blah blah blah. Once per turn, you can pay 1000 life points, shuffle into the decks all cards in the graveyards and all face-up banished cards except Light Swan monsters. Yeah, and you probably see where this is going. If you banish the complete board of your opponent with Wargate and then chain Punishment Dragon's effect to shuffle all monsters, all face-up banished cards back into the deck, these monsters you banished won't get special summoned back because they are no longer banished. So you basically wipe the board of your opponent completely. You know, you attack with the Wargate, your opponent thinks, doesn't matter, you know. They return anyway during the end phase, but then you go into main phase 2, special summon your Punishment Dragon, activate Punishment Dragon's effect, and shuffle everything back, and no monsters will be special summoned back. So, very nice. Next one, well, pretty obviously, Chaos Angel, also very generic, you know, 1 tuner and 1 non-tuner light or dark monster, so this is pretty easy to achieve. I guess most of you are familiar with this. Yeah, I read through it. For this card, Synchro Summon, you can treat 1 light or dark monster you control as a tuner, so you don't even need a tuner if you have a light or dark monster on the field. If this card is special summoned, you can target 1 card in the field, banish it. This card gains these effects based on the original attributes of materials used for its Synchro Summon. Light Synchro monsters you control are unaffected by monster effects activated by your opponent, so very nice. And dark monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. Very nice card. Next one, Ruddy Rose Dragon. A little bit of an underdog, but also extremely powerful in my eyes. Also as generic as it gets. 1 tuner, 1 non-tuner monster. If this card is Synchro Summoned, you can banish all cards from the graveyards. Then, if this card was Synchro Summoned using Black Rose Dragon or a plain Synchro monster as material, you can destroy all other cards on the field. So this is kind of a divine arsenal. When your opponent activates a card effect that would destroy a card, quick effect, you can tribute this card, negate the activation, and then you can special summon 1 Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck or graveyard. Well, this is, no one cares about that. You can take advantage of that, of course, but the first effect is mostly the effect you going for to banish all cards from the graveyards. You can use again. You can combine this with Punishment Dragon if you want to, and shuffle everything back. Reset, basically. Next one, not released in the TCG yet, only available in the OCG. Found that very nice, actually. The Arms of Genex Return 0. Not as generic as the Ruddy Rose Dragon. It needs 1 dark tuner and 1 non-tuner monster. Ooh. And it says, when your opponent activates a monster effect, this is a little bit confusing how it's written here. Anyway, when your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can banish 1 monster from your graveyard with the same attribute as that monster, but a different one than those banished to activate this effect of Arms of Genex Return 0 this turn. And negate activation, and if you do, destroy that monster. So this is basically an access code talker for monster negates. Alright, the wording on this one is very obscure, but it's access code talker for monster negates. Okay, if you already have banished a attribute, for example Earth, you cannot banish a Earth monster again to negate the effect of a Earth monster. If this makes sense to you. Anyway, this is not once per turn, so this is very powerful. Genau, and once per turn you can target up to 6 of your Genix monsters. Yeah, nobody does that. With different attributes that are banished and or in your graveyard, shuffle them into a deck. Then you can destroy up to that many cards in the spell and trap zone. It's also a powerful effect, don't get me wrong, but I think most people gonna use this as a generic Synchro 10 and not in Genix. I have no clue about Genix, I don't know. Maybe you can play it. Genix is good, I don't know. Anyway, next one. Also again, as generic as it gets, very simple effect. One tuner, one non-tuner monster. Your opponent cannot target this card with card effects except during your main phase 2. So not during main phase 2, only in your main phase 2 he can target this card. Why would you play that? It has no effect besides that. It has 3100 DK, yeah. So for a lot of decks it's not that easy to get over 3000 DK, so it's a little bit of a stall wall, a stall wall, and a beat stick. That's it. Yeah, probably one of the best generic Synchro 10 monsters is the Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Changing Shangjing Hung Jackie Chan. It's a one tuner and one non-tuner monster. For each banished card, this card gains 100 ATK and death, and monsters your opponent controls lose 100 ATK and death. If this card would be destroyed by card effect, you can banish one card from your graveyard instead. This effect is not once per turn. If a card is banished, except during the damage step, you can banish one card each from both your opponent's field and graveyard, and you can this effect is once per turn. Okay, otherwise this would be too good. Also works great in combination with the Wargate, or in combination with, no, not with the Punch Battery. In combination with the Wargate, or in combination with the Chaos Angel, or in combination with the Ruddy Roastering. You get the idea. And the last one is Ice Jade, I don't know, Gimia Agerine. Not as generic as the Changing. Anyway, one water tuner and one non-tuner monsters. One water tuner is actually not too hard to achieve. There is the life points gainer hand trap, you know, the this thing here with the blue dog. This is water tuner, and it says it is a nice effect. Quick effect. You can activate this effect. Face-up monsters you control cannot be destroyed or banished by your opponent's card effects this turn, which is already very nice. Then if you activated this effect in response to your opponent's card or effect activation, and your opponent has a card with that name on their field and or graveyard, you can banish those cards. If a card or cards is banished by your opponent's card effect while this card is in your graveyard, you can special summon this card. Very nice. So it works, I think, best against Kashtira or any deck that banishes a lot. So these were some generic alternatives for Baronne in the Synchro region. You know, we want to keep the deck the same, you know, just to swap out the level 10 Synchro. You know, of course, if you want a absolute alternative for Baronne, then you just play number 19 Galaxy Eyes Photon Lord, or whatever, you know. But this is not a Synchro. We focus on the easy to achieve things and not to completely change our deck. The alternatives for Linkuriboh, however, is a little bit limited. Linkuriboh was a very nice and versatile card, which is no longer available. Anyway, the best alternative right now, until we get a new Link 1 monster, maybe, is definitely Relinquished Anima. It's almost the same as Linkuriboh, just you cannot use a token for Anima, and here you could. Its effect, well, if it works, it's nice. You just use it to get your level 1 into the grave, you know, like the Snake Eye stuff, or for Drytron, or you know, you name it. It says you can target when face-up monster discard points to. Equip that face-up monster to discard. You can only use this effect of relinquished animal once per turn, and discard gains ATK equal to that equipped monster. So it's a monster steal, and that's it. Next one is probably you're familiar with this. Salamangreat, I hope. Salamangreat Almirage. One normal summoned set monster with 1000 or less ATK. So could also work in Snake Eyes. Quick effect, you can tribute this card and target one monster you control. It cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects this turn. When a normal summoned set monster you control is destroyed by battle while this card is in a graveyard, you can special summon this card and you can only use each effect blah 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 once per turn. And the last one is again a very strange one. Clara and Rushka, the Ventrilodu, and I had never heard of this card before. I only found out about that via Edo Pro here. One normal summon set monster, and I don't know why, but cannot be link summoned except during main phase 2. Yeah. I guess it's just if you have absolutely no other plan, then you go for that. I don't know. You know, it's easy to summon, but pretty useless. I really don't know. Go with Anima or Mirage. It's better. Just option. Anyway, this would be some alternatives for Baronne and Linkuriboh. If you know some, you know, other underdog card that could be played as alternative, please let me know that in the comments. You not only help me with that, but also the whole community. And as I said before, this is what it's all about, to help the community and to keep the community alive. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.